14 weeks. Yes, that's how long this bike has been off the road. And whilst I never intended for him to be off the road for so long, I'm okay with it. And I'm okay with it because of the amount of work that we managed to get done. As busy as I am, fitting in so much work, it is exactly what the bike needed. And we'll briefly look at what we've done in a moment. But before then, when I think back 14 weeks, yes, the bike has been on the channel in that time, whilst we look at the work that we're doing. But the last time he was on the road on the channel was 14 weeks ago. And back then, you may remember that we had just replaced his stator for the, what was that, the third time? And we'd just replaced his regulator rectifier. And although he was running, he was potentially not charging properly. Because he was starting, he was running, he seemed fine, he felt fine, but when I put the voltmeter on and I'm looking for a charging voltage of about 14.4 volts, well, let's recap what actually happened. Interesting, 13.3. It's a little low. But I wonder whether that's low because he is recharging his battery. Be interesting to monitor that over time and just see whether that comes back up to what it should be. 14 is the sweet spot, and in most healthy vehicles that I've stuck a voltmeter on, you're normally getting about 14.2 to 14.4 with the engine running. Yes, he was putting out 13 volts. Which may or may not have been okay. It may have simply been because his battery needed charging. So we said we'd keep an eye on it and we'd see whether that went up to 14, but unfortunately we never actually took the opportunity because we started doing all that work. So having recently put him back together, I didn't expect him to start. I mean, his battery wasn't fully charged the last time we used the bike, and then 14 weeks of not being used and not being started, I wasn't expecting much. And to my surprise, he started first time, which was quite something actually. I was well impressed with him starting first time after all that. And yeah, I took him out very briefly. Yes, that's right, I went to the shop just to use the bike. Wow. He may be able to tuck in here. I don't know if the horse will go past the car. So we took the bike to the shop and he was fine, but then when I got back I decided to put a voltmeter on him, because when I got back I parked on my drive, left him running for a minute, and he cut out. And I thought, oh, here we go. We still didn't have any engine management faults. You know, that code 46 that we had previously, that hasn't come back. But he cut out, and I restarted him, and he restarted fine, and he was ticking over, and then he cut out. So I stuck a voltmeter on him, and he was putting out 13.2 volts. So I decided, you know what, you probably could charge your own battery, but we've got no code 46. You've not been used in 14 weeks. I started to wonder whether I'd killed the battery, because sometimes when you have alternator problems or stator problems with a motorbike, you can actually kill your battery, because the battery isn't being charged, it's being drained more than it's being charged. So I was thinking, have I killed the battery? So the best thing for me to do at that point was to charge the battery, which surprisingly didn't take that long. And then when I put the voltmeter on, it was showing a charging voltage of 14.4 volts, and it was exactly 14.4. So I'm keen now, having used the bike, to see what we're getting. That is not the reading that you want to be getting from a healthy stator and regulator rectifier. It's not terrible. 13.8, went up to 14 there. It's just not consistent enough. Oh, surprise, surprise. 14.37, 14.4. Perhaps it is. Perhaps I was a little bit premature, having just started the bike. Well, we shall keep an eye on that. That's what I said last time. But actually, no, we will keep an eye on that, because as far as I'm concerned now, he is back on the road. He rides fine. 14.4 volts last time I checked. 14.4 volts this time. I'd like to think that we're good, but we will, one way or another, we will find out. So from a distance, the bike doesn't actually look any different. If you look a little closer, you might notice that we've done wheels and tyres, and it might look like we've just done wheels and tyres, and I don't know how it's showing on the camera. Let me see if I can get my shadow out of the picture. But the wheels and tyres have turned out bloody brilliantly, and it was a pain, don't get me wrong, but I am glad that we've done it. And for those of you that know me, that will get to see this in person, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. But it's when you look closer, I know, because I've done the work and I know the bike inside out, so I know all the little intricate stuff, like that rubber boot there that was split, that I've fixed, replaced. But it's when you start looking at other things like the discs. These discs have cleaned up remarkably well. For discs that aren't new, they're looking bloody brilliant. Had to put some new disc bolts on them though, because having gone to the effort of cleaning up the discs, I didn't want the old cruddy disc bolts. Front disc is exactly the same. It's not new, it's just cleaned up exceptionally well. And as well as new disc bolts, I've replaced a lot of the other bolts that hold various things on, like the hugger and the chain guard, and then chain adjusters, they're new. Chain and sprockets. I hadn't intended to change my chain until I took it off. It looked okay on the bike, and when I took it off it looked terribly cruddy, and it wasn't beyond being used. I could have kept it, but it was when I checked the chain stretch that I was shocked at just how much the chain had stretched. So I decided, you know what, while it's off, whilst the wheels are off, there's no better time of doing a chain and sprockets. So new sprocket nuts. And this is kind of how all the repairs started to snowball, because it was do one job and then another and then another, and it was always a, whilst we've got the bike stripped down this much, it would be a good idea to do this job and this job, and it just snowballed. I mean, under there, of course, we've got the shock links, so the spring, the shock, that's all been out, and the shock links have been repainted, and all the needle roller bearings have been stripped down, cleaned and re-greased, and the result is something that I'm really happy with. He just doesn't look that different, which is fine, because I already was a massive fan of how this bike looked. The main difference, of course, is the wheels and tyres, and I'm well happy with them. And after all of this work, the only thing that I'm not particularly happy with is the swing arm. Quite frankly, it turned out the wrong colour. It's just a little bit too grey for my liking. And when you, for example, compare it to the hugger there, you compare it to your mudguard, and you can see that the swing arm is just a little bit too light. And it's not the end of the world. It still blends in with the rest of the bike quite nicely. Maybe at some point in the future I get the swing arm powder coated and get it done in a satin black. But for now, I'm happy with it because it gets me back on the road. Actually, same as the exhaust. I have still got my original exhaust, which does need to be replaced. I have got a replacement that I'm in the process of cleaning up. But for now, to get back on the road, I've put the old exhaust on. So we may get the swing arm powder coated at some point, and I'm definitely going to be replacing that exhaust. I just want to clean up the replacement exhaust a little bit, do a couple of subtle cosmetic modifications first, and then get it fitted. Can't wait for Wednesday. Weather permitting, I will be taking this bike to paint and bike night on Wednesday and surprising a couple of people with the fact that it's back on the road. In fact, a couple of these people will probably watch the video on Monday, so it won't really be a surprise. But it doesn't matter, I'm looking forward to getting Rafiki here to a bike night, because by Wednesday it will be the 13th of August and he hasn't yet been to a bike night this year. So that is something that we're going to fix.